Hello and welcome to the Bike Show, and an episode where Don and I are not exactly doing much riding, but that's because we're actually doing a lot of riding. Eh? Sounds a bit weird, but as you watch this, Don is away in the wilds of the Northwest, amongst other places, riding his hero on his latest adventure, and I am on the Italian island of Sardinia, getting to grips with KTM's new SMT. I would normally bring you that world launch report on the next episode, but this time I've managed to talk myself into getting a long-term bike, even before I've ridden it. And so I'll be riding across Sardinia via some incredible mountain passes, catching a ferry back to Toulon in France, and then riding into the Alps in what will then undoubtedly be the most exhaustive, in-depth test of the SMT available anywhere on planet Earth. However, the result of all this riding that we're doing right now is that this episode we're going to be showing you some new models, talking tyre technology and discussing Honda's latest developments in South Africa with the help of a Honda stalwart from Honda Wing Centurion. Let's begin though with some of the biggest names in motorcycling and collaborations between East and West that seem to be all the rage these days. Some of them forming relationships that would surely have been unthinkable just a few short years ago. A couple of weeks ago in a new segment I told you about the new Harley-Davidson 350 being built in China in partnership with QJ. Yeah, a 350 single might make economic sense in those parts of the world where the American manufacturer's traditional models are out of reach of the vast majority, but I couldn't help but wonder what price that might come at in terms of the reaction of its traditional American customer base. Will it perhaps be seen as some kind of betrayal or cheapening of the image to have this proudly American iconic shield on such cheap foreign-built models? Well, we'll have to wait and see how that reaction develops, but in the meantime, hot on the heels of that 350, there was the announcement of a Ford XX project bike being developed in association with Hero in India. Presumably some 400cc or so model for sale in that part of the world. And it didn't stop there, because QJ has also just revealed the X500 in China, a parallel twin-cylinder Harley-Davidson model that also, as does the 350, look a lot like the XR1200 of a few years back. The X500 will probably be pretty good. How do we know this? Well, QJ already builds and sells an almost identical model under the Benelli brand, and it's called the Leoncino. Yeah, the latest Harley-Davidson is basically a second-hand Italian model made in China. Never thought I'd hear myself saying something like that about the 120-year-old granddaddy of American motorcycling. This is definitely the way of the future though, with QJ also involved with MV Agusta as well as Benelli and other major European manufacturers like BMW partnering with Lonsin in China, where KTM is also cooperating with CF Moto, as it does in fact with Bajaj in India. Bajaj, by the way, have just taken over all of Triumph's dealerships in India, and it seems very likely that a range of small capacity Triumphs will be built by Bajaj in that country. Quite how that will impact the relationship it currently enjoys with KTM is anyone's guess, but Bajaj already owns, remember, a hefty 49% stake in the Pira Mobility Group that controls KTM as well as GasGas and Husqvarna. Rumour has it that Bajaj is also keen on buying Triumph outright in the not too distant future. Okay, from the machinations of international finance and manufacturing that are designed to let more people have access to a wider range of models than ever before, let's dive into a world where you can ride any bike you want on any type of road, even a MotoGP bike on a circuit of your choosing, whenever you want. All you need is a gaming console or a PC and copies of either Ride 5 or MotoGP 23. Both games are produced by Italian developer Milestone, and both, unsurprisingly I suppose, play remarkably similarly in terms of how the bikes handle and react. Ride 5 features just about every production bike available today. You can tune them to your heart's content and race at a series of real and imagined venues in a career mode. The same sort of career, with fake social media buzz around your progression, takes place in MotoGP 23 as you go from rookie to world champion. All the bikes and teams are here across all three classes, and for the first time there are changeable weather conditions, so there's now the opportunity for some flag-to-flag racing. These games aren't cheap, but after playing so many versions of them over the years, I have to say Milestone itself is very cheap. I feel strongly that it has shortchanged faithful fans of the series, especially in recent years, with very little additional content or progression in terms of the physics or overall gameplay. And so I'd have to say that unless you have got money to burn, I really wouldn't bother rewarding their lazy, disrespectful approach to their gaming customers by giving them any of your money. MotoGP needs to catch a wake up and take the license to produce the game away from Milestone, or at least threaten to do so, because each year the feeling of being ripped off by the MotoGP brand leaves that bit more of a bitter taste. To get rid of that nasty aftertaste, we'll have a look at a Chinese manufacturer that I'd never heard of before, but I'll be definitely paying more attention to them in the future. I'm generally not shy about criticising some Chinese manufacturers because of their outrageously blatant copying of European and Japanese designs with some of their new models. The level of intellectual property theft is sometimes taken to such dizzying new heights that you can't help but wonder if it's parody, given the lack of subtlety in the theft. However, this Chinese company deserves some respect for using previous work as inspiration rather than as a template for a direct copy. Zephs has previously been better known for its funky cruisers, bikes like this little 250 V-twin bobber, but now it has branched out into a more sporty segment of the market with this 500R Avenger. It has a look that has been heavily, and I have to say delightfully, influenced by the endurance race bikes of the 1970s and 80s, with a 500cc parallel twin, an upside down fork, a very tasty single side swing arm, a TFT dash, and what looks like a set of Brembo calipers. It looks like the sort of stylish addition to the middleweight street bike class that could, if it has the usual Chinese advantage of affordability, be a genuine hit with the bike buying public. Currently, it's only available in China, but with a bit of luck, it will make its way to a dealer near you. Right, time for a quick ad break, after which we're talking Honda in South Africa.